Inspirado, Projecto. Here's a theme song for you. Had fun listening to your ones. Thought you might like some too. Inspirado, Projecto. I've been listening to you, and you sound kind of funky. So here's a song for you.
Wowzers! That was from Undies Funded Podcast, one of the wonderful people that I've left a theme song for, and they decided to sing a song for Inspirado Projecto. Thank you so much. I welcome one and all to leave any kind of messages here, and I will definitely include them in the episodes. It's always fun for me to collaborate brilliant minds together, glue them together, clinkety-clank them together like Legos. And before you know it, you got a castle, don't you? So thank you so much, Undies Funded Podcast. Please check them out. They are phenomenal, and something tells me they also do the cannabis conundrum. They do the cannabis conundrum podcast as well. So make sure you check them out. Something is telling me that this episode is going to be part 3. In the final part of the adventure that I experienced at the David Lynch book signing, an evening with David Lynch at the Ace Hotel, where I met some fellow Lynchians and fellow synchronicities, folks who love the synchronicities. If you listen to the parts 1 and part 2, you will completely understand what I am talking about. You will understand it. If you like David Lynch, these are the things to listen to. Actually, you will in fact hear a wonderful exchange between David Lynch and I on this podcast, which I've now officially decided is part 3. So without further ado, perhaps we should get to it.
That was great. I'm going to use it. But now send me one like you forgot to take your medicine for a few weeks.
Well, I'm curious, though, what maybe his definition of path of least resistance is, because it sounds to me that the conversations we've been having have all been actually about the path of least resistance, following your heart. Like that feels to me like that's the root of where the path of least resistance.
That's the perspective of...
But least resistance being that you've already gone down that road before.
Yeah. I was
you
say that.
already know what that's like. Like, you would rather choose me over your roommate because you have lived with her for 2 years.
Our path of least resistance is a different perspective. It is more of like a stepping into the unknown and following, trusting your heart and trusting that something interesting is going to happen. Whereas like his path of least resistance is like I've gone down this road.
Like,
I know what to expect. I know what's on the other side.
I know what my life's going to be like every day. That's least resistance. No one's going to resist me.
Yeah.
And it's like, and
I can recreate what I've created. That's very easy.
It's like, that's acting like nothing bad's going to happen to you because you have the same boring
it's actually
roommate.
flawed, actually. There's nothing you can't actually recreate.
Yeah, and then the thing is that he doesn't notice is she creates all this drama, but he doesn't even notice it.
Yeah.
And that's like what he's decided to like, right? Yeah, room is going down.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, but you also can't tell people shit.
I know.
So that's even better.
That's a hard thing when you were saying
never mind, don't talk to me. Okay, fine, talk to me. Okay, don't talk to me. It's like, because I want to tell him, because he's calling me to ask me, but I go, I can't show you and be in love with you because I get lost. Because I have to go into where you are to try and...
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
What's your name, brother?
Oh, I'm Kurt, C-U-R-T.
Kurt?
Yeah.
Doug.
Doug?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Nice to meet you. And what's your name?
Roxanne.
Oh, that's right. You said it 8 times.
Did I?
Any Roxanne I ever met is good vibes.
Yeah. In the context of your story, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm desensitized to my own name.
Yeah.
you know, I think like some people view like the prepackaged. I guess this is something I wanted to ask you too, as well. Is do you watch television? I don't watch television, so I feel that that's helped me.
I watch cartoons.
Okay,
I have to sometimes because I vote for the Emmys, so I have to like.
I'm more of a cartoon. I watch like every cartoon that's out.
So, in a sense,
Which is also I'm Still a Child.
I see what you mean about the Netflix. So yes, I'll watch YouTube. I'll watch Netflix and whatnot, but not the
Network
the,
television.
like
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I mean,
It's like where's my heart want to take me towards,
That's
kind of thing. And I noticed that the reason why I had to ask you to that is because it seems like folks who have these conversations tend to have been able to just.
Well, I didn't
they
watch
don't
television
really
most of my life. Yeah, it was a very recent thing, actually. Enjoy the flame.
Thank you.
Because then you're not
And I was like
being,
the only person I knew who like didn't have any kind of cable or TV. And
Yeah, and that was because we were fucking poor.
Well,
But I know, but that's another thing where all
it
these
started
random
with that for me,
things-
but then I realized how much better my life was not having it. So I
Right.
just kept
Yeah.
I did like Liquid Television. That was like
Oh
one of the
my
first I
God,
watched,
Liquid
was, like,
Television
and
was
I'll even go
great.
back,
Aeon
I think,
Flux,
a couple
holy moly.
days ago, and I like fucking Dog Boy and. Like,
Oh my
all
god!
those
Oh
other-
my god! I was just talking about Dog Boy the other day on my other
Nobody
podcast.
talks about Dog Boy.
Because of Charles Burns, my dream is to make El Borba because he did a graphic novel called El Borba about this detective luchador, and he did Dog Boy, and God, because that's one of the things I want to make a movie because you know how Dog Boy looked. He had plastic hair,
Oh
and they
my
looked
God,
kind of
it's
like slightly cartoonish and yet also human at the same time.
The only thing
That's so
that's
crazy that you know that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Because
so
my
awesome.
dad worked the graveyard shift, and he would come, like, this other thing is I remember the feeling of you're in another room, 2 rooms away or something, but the TV volume isn't on, but you know the TV, you fucking feel the wave in your ear, and that's probably because I'm a fucking weirdo. But I would just be like, my dad's home. And it would be he would have the volume off, but it would just be like, that
you could hear it.
and I'd be in my room with the door closed and I'd know he's home.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, and I would just like, he would like lay on his side and I would just like lay like this watching Liquid Television forever. It was my favorite. Aeon Flux.
Oh man, yeah. She always seemed to die at the end and then just immediately come back the next time around. That art was so cool.
I expect it to be empty now.
Yeah. Thank you.
I see why. We're just moving down. Yeah.
Oi, I see. I see now.
The next level. Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because I think like what I've realized is that if folks are watching television all the time, this network television, what's happening is they don't get a chance to have any thoughts that are kind of just their own. It's just always this, because no matter what, that stuff is even subliminally just going boop, 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 bouncing around
Using
back
different
there.
words to trigger like different images.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have, and that's. I was telling you about the sensory deprivation tanks because that's how I repatterned
God,
a lot
I would love
of
to do one of those. Have you done those before?
Yeah, I did it for about 4 months straight.
How often for 4 months? Every day?
Once or twice a week.
And so you had one of those places near you?
I worked at one in San Francisco.
Oh my God.
There's one in Pasadena. You can get packages, but yeah, the first time I tripped out, which was like non-drug related, was, have you been to the Integratron in Joshua Tree?
No, but I've heard a lot about it. And I've been
Unfortunately,
where
they're booked up through next year now because it's like everybody knows about it.
it's like
but
the
when I
dome,
went,
and it's got the beautiful sounds,
there's
right?
not one piece of metal in it. It was built from plans from the aliens given to George Van Tassel. So they're Venusian or whatever. But there's not one piece of metal in the entire dome. All the pegs are wood and everything.
Oh my God.
Robert Plant goes there, like Smashing Pumpkins go, because it's trippy as fuck. But so I read about it and I was like, okay. I mean, this goes into like a whole other tunnels that are having to do this conversation. But I convinced my boyfriend to go with me. And you lay around this middle tube in the dome, and they do the glass bowls. So I don't know if you're familiar with Tibetan glass bowls and different frequencies that are like can resonate with your chakras. And I didn't even really know that much about chakras at that point. We started doing bowls, and all of a sudden, it sounds so loud in your ear. It feels like your eardrums are about to explode. Like it goes, and then it gets high. And I was just like, I actually surrendered to that. Yeah, it's just the fucking way it is. There's like the glass bowl sound.
It's the only thing happening, right?
The only thing happening is just this
Like
piercing sound.
Yeah.
But what I did, which was different, is like, I think in our daily life, it's like something you're scared, you don't know what it is, it could happen, so you fight it. And I just decided that moment to surrender, and a tear rolled down my eye, and I just left my body. And then they like woke us up, but like I wasn't even there. And I was like, you can do that with sound? And that's what like started making me find out all this other stuff that I found out.
Frequencies and vibrations.
Yeah.
Rife machine, you probably know about that.
Yeah. And the other thing was that my boyfriend at the time, my ex now, he didn't even like have a glimpse into that or want to know anything about that, and he left his body, and that's when I knew. Like it was like I was like, this isn't based on I believe, so it happened to me. Like, no, that's not it. Now what we saw, so I was like, okay, and then I'd watched Altered States, and that goes into the dream. Have you seen it?
I still need to.
Got it.
The trailer has always resonated in my brain, and it's because of that
Altered
trailer that I've always
States.
wanted to be in a sensory deprivation tank. Now, when you went into the sensory deprivation tank for the first time, was it similar to the frequency, being at that place you were just talking about? Did you
Yes
leave your
and no.
body?
I didn't. I actually went more into my body, but it was like, so the water is heated to the temperature of so it's like the same temperature as your skin. And then you're just floating like on the Dead Sea. So it's the closest to being in the womb as you could possibly be. So that's where that came from. And then that's kind of, we're talking about the comfort and safety of that zone, and then only being able to hear your own thoughts shows you existence in a whole different way, because you hear yourself. You don't. It's all bouncing around. You're like, is that me? And like I'm an empath, so then I always have to question: is that my thought, or is that someone who is around me and I'm like feeling a lot of emotion right now? Is that me? What's really going on with me? In the tank, so you get a lot more profound truths because you're sure that it's you. That's what I noticed. And then when I did my PTSD and stuff, I read books on repatterning memories. So then there's specific ones that I worked on that I would go in and just try and remember a different way, or see truths or see it from other people's point of view in it, which is weird. But I don't know. Is that astral projecting? I think it is when you look at yourself just different camera views. It takes a lot of practice though. Lucid dreaming helps with that, with you to get different camera views above yourself or side like that. I don't know. The Integratron's really cool. It sucks but doesn't suck, but they're really booked out till next February. I tried to go in again and I couldn't.
I've tried once. I wasn't able to get in.
I only went once. Actually, there's some in August. Random days. They're in the middle of the week. So if you have free time in August, you should try and book.
Yeah, just book it way in and then just put it on the calendar and just know that you're driving out to the desert that day.
Have you been to a sensory deprivation tank?
I haven't, no. I was just saying that a good friend of mine is actually opening a place to do it.
Really?
So yeah, and I just hung out with her. She was in LA about 2-3 weeks ago.
That would be awesome to have.
Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely be trying it out once it's there. So yeah.
I mean, it would be silly not to.
Yeah.
Especially
I've been looking forward to it.
That would be so cool. Now, how big is the tank?
They're all different now. So now that it's been around for a while, they had the original one, which is the one in Altered States. It was like a metal, kind of coffin shaped, and then it had like a little door at the end that you would go in and out. It was pitch black and just a filter. Now they have ones that, like, for people that are claustrophobic, they have ones that are kind of bigger rooms, like bigger ceilings. So when you go in, you can see that the ceiling's there. You still turn the light off, and you still don't have any sound. Then there's ones that look like little, like baby whales or something, like little white pods. It opens up. You can keep it open, but if you want, you close it. And those have color therapy. So they have, like,
wow.
If you want to work on your root chakra, you can, like, look at red or have it just be a light show. Or some people literally are just going in the tanks for the physical benefits, which is detoxification, and it's Epsom salt, so it's easing all of your muscles. And then if you're like have back problems, if you're weightless for an hour, it's super helpful. You can even do 2 hours. The most trippy one was 2 hours because you do go deeper.
You probably have no concept of time at that point, right?
No. And then I had there's like a little, those like little kick pads when you're learning how to swim. They have those, and you put your neck on it. But then by the time I was in the fetal position, I just had my head on it.
Wait, so
you go
when you're
like
in it, are you on your back?
You're on your back, and you just go to sleep.
In water?
Yeah, you have
How much
earplugs.
water are we talking?
Like this much, maybe a foot or two. But there's 1,200 pounds of salt.
Oh,
in
okay.
it.
So you're totally floating.
On the top, you don't have to do anything. But
and
then
so
sometimes
dark
it's your
in there,
neck. It's like if you don't want your ears. Some people have ear things. They don't want their ears wet. Everyone's different.
Yeah, do you have your ears submerged or no?
Yeah, you have earplugs, but you can have them. It's like if it's submerged, it's like right here. It's not. You don't go past here, really, past where your face is, I guess. But you do have a little kick pad as a pillow. So then, by the time I was like, I somehow repatterned myself into being in the fetal position. And I was just sleeping like that on top of water, which is cool.
So I'm imagining it probably felt like it was over as quickly as it began. Is it one of those kind of things?
Yeah. And then it's like it's just a lot of work. This journey is you're experiencing it and you're in the now, but you do have to set aside time for reflection for to get the real lessons out of it. You experience, it's very important to be in the moment, and then you have to set aside what is that time with meditation or whatever, however that is, to then reflect upon and then gather the lesson from it. In real time, you can't learn the lesson as it's happening. I haven't found that to be true. Maybe you can learn right after, like, oh, that's what that was, but usually it's not. You have to go in. You got to see how you participated in that, what you want, why you made that happen, what you wanted to learn, if you learned it. But those things are really the only, and music were the only things that really helped me through all that stuff. Is, taking out the bullshit. Kind of what he's saying. Hopefully, if I keep doing that, I'll release this creative block. I don't have enough money to float a lot right now. I would totally go floating.
Yeah, right.
And it's just, I want to do it every day. There are float tanks that you can get for your house. But those are still around like $2,000. Price of a small beat up car.
Can you make could you just do it in your bathtub? Like a poor man's version of it?
If you had earplugs, yeah.
You need how many pounds of salt, you said?
1,200. I mean, if you want to, you need...
That's about the price of a small beat-up car, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The filter and stuff.
Well,
I guess you could lay...
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, here's why you couldn't. Because in the pods, the heater keeps it a consistent temperature.
Right.
That's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's important.
The That's what I would say the whole thing. Is that if you pick one temperature, that's also part of the sensory deprivation part, is the temperature isn't changing.
You want to factor that out. You're not feeling it anymore.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
You want to be the ball of, you would just want to feel your spirit.
Yeah.
You want to let
Take all the senses away.
The car that you're in rest. You're putting that in, That's the only reason why. Otherwise, I think you totally could. You could put earplugs in and turn the light out. But if the water got cold, you'd want to get out. And you'd be totally aware of it as soon as it started getting cold.
Yeah.
Just like laying in a bathtub now. I mean, you're constantly
even
aware.
a nice bath that you make it hot as fucking possible. Usually, like 16 minutes into it, it's not as warm, and then you're like,
It's
oh,
uncomfortable.
the thrill is gone.
Intriguing that you just so happened. Now, did you bring that up earlier?
No.
The fact that you have a friend who's gonna
No, that
open
was
up
a
sensory
coincidence. It's a total coincidence. And why do we
They
even
just keep
bring it
unfolding,
up?
man. I'm like cleaning my brain matter off the ceiling every few seconds.
Totally.
Well, it's weird
God,
because
it's amazing.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering because
It just keeps going.
Well, when we got in line, we I don't know. One of us mentioned something about trauma, but what was that? I mean, it was trauma.
Oh,
but I mean, that's what kind
I
of led
did.
to it.
I'm usually the first. I'm usually the first one to admit it.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Yeah, I'm like, hey,
Trauma. That's
been through trauma here. Don't.
Listen up, folks. Is this thing on?
Yeah. Trauma.
We're going to talk about trauma.
Are we in group?
Anyway, that's kind of how we got into it. And she said that's how she dealt with it. And I said, oh, my friend's just opening that up. And she was just telling me about it during her visit here a couple weeks ago. So,
God, it's amazing.
It is cool, yeah.
How often do you, well, first of all, how often do you ever come across someone who's actually been in a sensory deprivation tank? Number two, how often do you ever come across someone who's actually just deciding to open up their own sensory deprivation tank facility? That's astounding.
Right.
I mean, that's like a fractal right there. We just wrapped ourselves up neatly up within the fractal.
Yeah. That's very funny.
It's hard. A lot of people are claustrophobic, so
Yeah, I'm trying to visualize what is it like as wide as this aisle maybe, or like some of the sensory deprivation tanks, or.
But if you can kind of get over that, I mean, you probably lose
spread
it,
your
right?
arms out. It's like, I think it's like 9 feet by 6 feet or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's.
Oh.
It's not.
It's not like a tiny.
But if you're claustrophobic, that would still feel tiny to you.
Even the giant could fit in there, couldn't he?
But they made ones that, I mean, they made a, the basketball players float in them, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
I had one friend, it's actually really recommended highly when you're pregnant, which I would.
Sensory deprivation?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I want to get pregnant just to prove that I'm right about the things I want to try when you're pregnant.
You could actually probably feel...
I know that's the wrong reason. I know that's the wrong
The
reason.
guinea pig of pregnancy.
Is there a good reason, though, really?
But it would be
That's a good reason
things.
as any.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a worse reason than just wanting to have
Saving a
something that
marriage.
looks like you
Yeah.
as an accessory?
Yeah.
So it's
I think it's
that would be as an
one of the better
accessory.
reasons, actually.
So
Well, on Instagram, that's what it looks
It'd be
like to
like
me.
the Russian doll kind of thing, right? Because you'd have the baby in there,
wow.
and then
Oh.
you'd be like the
Just-
womb within the womb.
you want to trip out
in
on
the room,
Russian
the womb within the
dollness.
womb within it. Oh
Okay.
yes, please.
So,
Please. Tell me
I
more.
just listened to
Enlighten
this
me.
fucking podcast, Radio Lab. You love Radio Lab. So, I'm obsessed with female body. It's like reproduction as we do it. The subtle dance of how the fuck you even trick someone into having your baby. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
Yeah.
But really, because even if you do trick someone into saying, "Will you have my baby?" that doesn't mean you're gonna have a baby.
And it's not as easy to get pregnant as I always thought
not.
it was. There's
So it
certain
really is a
things- I
miracle.
can't-
Even if it's a fucking, you're like, how the fuck did this person have a baby? It's a miracle. So
Well, a lot of pregnancies are accidents completely, so that's where...
you say accident, I see miracle.
But also the journey that the sperm has to go through. It's like a freaking video game. I don't know how that thing, because you got these these tentacles coming out trying to knock it down, and you got to choose the right fallopian
about
tube.
how our gonads are formed. Which everyone was like, gonads are a boy thing. I also believe that. No. Gonads are male and female. It's just what the fuck it is. It's a gonad. So then she goes into talking about how these are formed, which is when you think about around 24 days in gestation, the zygote looks like a tadpole. And I think we've all seen that picture. So where the tail is, there's like usually like a dark I remember this. You can't really put it in, but there's like a dark area when you look at the zygote. And you're like, I think probably you already think it's something to do with your bowels or something. And it literally is, it's the trash. It's the trash from the cells going into this spot. And guess where your fucking gonads are formed? From the trash. Not even that. That's not even the trippy part. Day 24, there's just this calling that the cells hear. That's like a thumping. Yeah, that only they hear, and they just start migrating to the middle of the fucking zygote. And it just goes and goes and goes and then it just stops right in the middle where our gonads are formed. Then, this is obviously a lot. This took a fucking hour to explain, so I'm not taking as long. It goes over this ridge. That's actually where the pubic bone is. Not formed. This fucking ridge, and it stops. And then, based on chemicals, you're male or female. And then, if you are decided you're a male, then the cells go dormant until puberty. If you're a female, instantaneously, all your fucking eggs that you're going to have for the rest of your life go then. So as a female who's already pregnant with a baby, you already have your grandchildren's eggs inside of you from day fucking 35. Most people don't even know they're pregnant by then. That's in the first trimester, in the first month. You're not even telling anybody you're pregnant, and you already have your grandchildren's eggs inside of you. And that really, I just heard this a week ago, that really changed my whole thought, even really on abortion, to be honest with you. I don't know if I really can, like, I still think it's everyone's choice, but I don't know if I could support it for myself anymore. And before, I didn't really, not that it wasn't a big deal, I always knew it'd be a big deal, but that's way different. That's way different. Because that's the first month, that's not even, you already have lives of another life.
What's intriguing too is the fact that a microscope can actually see the tiny things within the tiny things and actually chart that in some sort of quantifiable way that they can chart what's going on there.
I just thought, I'm like, really, when we talk about how different males and females are, that's like, at a certain point, like, male cells are dormant until puberty. And then, like, this, it's like, doesn't ever stop. And it doesn't stop for females. There's, like, it's always to starting the period, having a baby, or not having a baby, to having menopause, to, it just doesn't stop from day 26 till you die.
Do they use the Russian doll analogy in the? Is that why?
No, but I didn't even think about that. You said it, and that clicked, and I was like, "Oh my god, it totally is like that because it's the fucking eggs of all of the future specimens." It still actually is a mind-blowing fact to me. It's just a week ago where I'm like,
still digesting.
It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's mind-blowing to think that, I mean, even the fact that through all that stuff, that a sperm can still get to the egg, but then once it gets to the egg, what's actually, I mean, the poor thing is damaging its head. It's trying to smash its way in that thing, and then who knows what's inside of there? That even inside of there could be some crazy labyrinth to try to get into wherever that thing has got to get into. I mean, holy moly! I mean, the fact that we're even here, that's winning. That's winning a lottery.
Yeah, of course.
That astounds the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And
It's got to be hard to wonder, like, out of 6 people who it could be, like on Maury. Like, you're like, I have no idea. Yeah, your eggs probably don't either. That's so crazy.
See, I thought it was funny when you guys got excited about it. When you said Russian doll and you got excited. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally received a Russian doll like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Of course you did.
Now, the funny thing is
boy.
that it was a
Third eye
giveaway.
is really blinking a
No,
lot
it was a
right
giveaway for like a event or whatever. But I thought it
You
was
were
pretty
given a
interesting.
Russian
Yeah, I
doll.
was given one. But the funny thing is that like I only had one in my life. It wasn't even mine. It was like my grandparents that I played with when I was little. But when I got it, I'm like, wow, like this is like my first time ever having one. It was just it was a funny
This was
feeling.
how long ago?
About 2 weeks ago.
Okay, you had to have beamed that to my antenna. See, I think the thing
I don't
is
know.
because
I mean, it was for that TV show, The Americans.
Oh, Okay.
And so like the
Oh.
Russian doll is all the characters from the show. But it's a really nice doll, and they're all painted,
Russian
like
dolls
every
are really
character.
fun.
It's gorgeous. I was
littlest
super
one is the
impressed.
most
Yeah. A little like
flick it around.
yeah. It's all solid and
Yeah. You kind of are happy that it's at the end. You're like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to open any more of these.
I was really impressed
Yeah.
with it. I was really impressed by it.
By the 8th one, it's
And there's a lot of them, yeah. So,
But the 8th one. That's just...
yeah, it's just like the same thing, you know. Like by the 8th donut cheeseburger, you're like, I don't want any more.
you're over.
With the Snicker topping, yeah. I can't get over that fair food.
Oh,
They
shit.
have those kind of things where it's like
I just went to the fair
a
last week.
cheeseburger.
Of course you did. Of course you
donut
did.
Buns
Wait,
that
wait,
gets
wait.
deep fried.
No.
in
I literally took
Snickers.
pictures.
show
I
us,
took
please show
pictures
us.
of exactly what you're talking about. Because I couldn't believe it. Hold on.
Okay, we're going to
is
start
last week.
levitating really soon here.
Well, this. I saw this first of all.
Shrimp on a stick.
No.
Oh, with Fruity Pebbles. Dude, that's brilliant. This is something,
That's
this is science fiction. This is real life science fiction here.
Yeah, exactly.
This
But I mean,
is
that's
real-
exactly what you're talking about.
Oh
like
my
like
God.
you already have something. It's like why go that extra step?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was another.
Is that like their version? Is it of like a chicken and waffle kind of thing?
I don't know, but they also had
Fruity Pebbles.
bacon
on a-
wrapped corn on the cob,
Wait,
bacon
what?
bacon wrapped turkey leg, and
Wait,
deep
Rick and
fried
Morty was, This whole
nachos.
world's on a cob.
His whole world's on a cob.
But deep fried nachos,
my
they're telling me
God.
I think they deep fry every chip, and then they like make nachos with it.
And just deep fry the whole thing. It's too much.
What the heck?
It's
I don't
not
know.
okay.
It didn't make sense to me. I was having a very hard time.
I
was
have to
having a very hard
admire.
time.
I have to admire this chefs because I could tell you, I've made some very strange things just for, like in my kitchen where I'm like, I'm so hungry right now, but let's put. I don't know. Oh, there's some ice cream.
Let's turn
and
the
there's,
camera this way
Yeah.
while I make this.
Let's turn the camera this way. Now it's a cooking show. Now we get Fruity Pebbles on a shrimp stick.
That was the most.
God, that's amazing. Well, let's invent some other ones that will undoubtedly become real out there in the world that we'll hear about.
Yeah.
You said the donut burger.
The donut burger.
I've
That's
had
that
Or is that real?
That's
Oh, that's a real
there's
one?
a food truck in LA that does that. Yeah.
No respect for that.
They call it a savory donut, but it's a donut. It's not.
No respect.
Yeah.
Savory donut. Get the fuck out of here.
Savory donut.
Yep. I don't know. I don't. Food is such an amazing, precious thing. I don't want to try to ruin it on purpose. It's not. That's not.
already
That's
been
not fun.
ruined.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's already been ruined. I don't know. I feel like I'm not stoned enough to make any of these up. Everyone was really stoned when they made those up.
Oh, probably. Fruity Pebbles on it. Yeah, on shrimp. Yeah.
And then you said corn.
So,
Wait, what was
bacon
the
wrapped corn on the
Oh,
cob.
bacon wrapped corn
That's
on the
like
cob.
when
That's
I-
what it was.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, I'm not going to crack eggs on the side of the bowl anymore. I'm going to put the bowl near the wall and throw the egg at the wall. And that's how I do it now.
Oh my god! And that's how I do it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because once you start, you can't go back.
Did you draw a target
No,
on the wall?
it's too
Did you draw a
boring.
target so you know you
No.
get
You
the?
can never go back. You can
Oh,
never
yeah,
go
yeah,
back.
that's right.
Then you go to your friend's house and you're watching them crack eggs. You're like, oh, there's such a better way.
Yeah, if only you were to just whip it
I did
against
it
the
in
wall.
slow motion and then named it my biological clock.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome. Wow.
Oh, see
There you
what
go.
slow motion function with the? Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Biological
yeah.
clock.
Here's a salt.
I like it.
You can see the.
Slide. I don't even care if it slides down the wall. You should wash the
don't care.
wall.
Too late at that point.
You should wash the wall, I will say, before the area you're going to throw the egg if you don't feel like.
Okay.
I've done that only a couple times. Sometimes I wash the wall, sometimes I don't. I don't feed eggs I haven't washed the wall to anyone else.
This
kind
is
of
good.
ironic,
You just
'cause
whip it right against the
Because all
wall.
you're doing is you're just washing off the previous egg.
Yeah. It's like those frying pans where you just like, no, do not wash this frying pan. It's collecting the
Oh, yeah,
sauces.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
collecting
Yeah.
the juices.
Oh, yeah.
So this
I
is
do
like
that.
for
I do
45
filthiest
years,
pans.
you've just
Yeah,
kept
exactly.
these
Yeah.
these
Now you
things in
better
here.
do that trick when like you do the shaman thing where you roll the egg over somebody and then I should crack it in the bowl.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Make it
That'd
very
be a little more
ceremonial.
dramatic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Make sure it's
Roll
room
it
temperature. I don't know why.
Room temperature.
cold
Make sure it's
egg.
make sure it's room
like,
temperature.
It takes you out of the experience. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the deprivation thing we're
Yeah,
talking
you're
about.
like,
It'd be
the
very-
egg's getting colder. The egg's getting colder.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be a very different experience if you froze the egg first. So I guess that
What happened to be freezing?
Whoa.
What did we just invent?
And then what
On
if
a
it-
stick.
Freezing egg
What if
tonight.
you
Frozen egg on a stick with Fruity Pebbles.
with Fruity Pebbles glued onto
Oh,
it?
glue it right on
Not
there.
with food, anything, just actual.
Yeah.
And then when it's freezing,
Uh-huh.
just bite into it.
Just-
really hard, yeah. Just, I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
And then just wrap it up in the bacon.
Frozen eggs would be really good to throw at somebody.
yeah, no, it'd be very cool. Depends who it is. If it's someone you don't like.
But frozen eggs in a sock.
Oh my boy.
Sorry, it just turned. I think it was the donut cheeseburger
just
thing that
turned,
got me
it just
angry.
Got real dark.
Yeah, I just thought about the donut burger and it just makes me
pissed you
mad.
off, yeah.
This whole world's on a cob.
Oh yeah.
This whole world's on a donut bun.
Well, I find whenever I want to, it really is. The whole world's on a donut
Cheese,
bun.
it's just disgusting.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of cheese. Oh, here comes Fruity Pebbles. Watch out.
I was
Close your
hoping
eyes.
it
Watch
would.
out. Cover your eyes.
They look like they could come from the ceiling. It's moving pretty fast, actually. David's gonna need a hand massage.
I know. Seriously.
I only have 2 hands, David.
Yeah.
Wait, should I tell him that when I go up there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I would sign your book, but I only have 2 hands.
Oh my god. Yeah. I'm like, but I have a prehensile tail.
But I can write with my mouth.
Yeah. And sometimes my ear.
Wait, is it like sometimes like there's like book handlers?
Book handlers?
Oh yeah, someone takes.
Oh, so he will not hand it to you. Someone else does.
He just signs it and then someone grabs it, so you can.
You know, I almost feel like I would expect people in costumes to be handing you the book. Like possibly even people dressed as Bigfoot or something.
Right.
To
Yeah.
enhance the surreality of it.
Or it'd be better if it was
Or
a
someone
one
with a trumpet.
Someone with one arm.
One arm. A one-armer. There's a one-armer now. Yeah.
One arm book handler. He only has one hand.
That's right. That's
Or
right.
he'd sign your book. Or he'd handle your book. Oh my god, do you think I have time
Sorry,
to
it's
pee?
on your book, but I only have one arm.
I think you do.
Okay.
Because they do the rest of this middle section.
It's so ruly over here.
Yeah.
So what are your your passions, your talents, the things that you would really like to
Well, this is the
pursue
thing is
or
that
do?
I mean, I
What would be like the
it
big
sounds
dream?
well. It sounds kind of dark, but that's kind of where I always come from. I'm in this part of my life right now where I kind of feel like I've done it all, so it's hard to like.
Have you skydived?
I haven't actually next week.
Oh, of course you are, dude. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah, yeah.
I've done it all.
No, but I mean, it's like yeah, like I have a heart. Sometimes I get down because I'm like, you know, what could there be more to life? Because I've made a movie, I put out an album, you know.
Okay, so what's
I've
the name
done
of
a
your movie?
podcast,
What's the name of your movie?
It's called Dead Next Door. But I mean,
Can we
I
find
didn't-
it out there in the world?
No, you can't. But
Why?
that's because the person I made it with is not a good person. So
Okay, so now about your music though.
the music you can find.
Is that
out
something
in the
you
world.
can find?
Yeah. You can go to Spotify or
Because
Pandora.
this
or whatever,
podcast
and-
is also a radio I have a radio show,
Oh, okay.
and it's so I would love to have you two in the studio sometime if you ever want to. It's an
Oh,
AM
yeah,
station.
yeah.
It's in Chinatown.
Really?
Yeah, the
Awesome.
first and third Monday of every month I have an hour, and I can play and say and do whatever I want on there.
Oh, nice.
So I can play your music on there. Actually, I want to exchange information with you guys.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
I'm
Let me just see. I think if
always
you go to like
interested in keeping intriguing people in my life.
if you go to iTunes, yeah, like this is my
It's incredible.
album.
Wow, man.
So yeah, like, and it's funny because this is the time when I first met her.
Tank Attack.
You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Like, so I guess I met her around probably 2010.
Holy
So it was a
cow.
while ago. Yeah.
So, okay, are you currently making more music?
I am. I mean, I played a show last year, and for that show, I did it solo, and I wrote a new song for the show, and I played another song I had just written for a work project before. But I didn't enjoy it as much because I really like. My favorite thing is playing live, and my favorite thing about playing live, and especially this band was just 2 people, just me and this girl playing drums, is like the spontaneity. Like a lot of what we do is like it's highly structured, but there were like games built into it. I'd build games into our songs.
Awesome.
I'd build improvising into our songs.
Improv is where it's at.
Yeah, and I'd also like put anchors. I mean, this was all in my head. She didn't really know a lot of it. I mean, I work it in, and she go along with it. If I put anchors in where like I know she was holding it down, so I could jump in the crowd, I could do different things, you know. So yeah, the whole point for a live show with me was just all the spontaneous elements, and so that was a thrill. And we did it for like 9 years straight. So
Oh,
It was a
cool.
long time.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, man.
And that was like my latest band, but since then I haven't found anyone to collaborate in that way, sadly. So I did the solo show last year, and it was good.
Where'd you do it at?
fun. It was a show that my friend set up. It was at a Legion outpost in somewhere in town, but it was just interesting, kind of multi-purpose room. But I mean, it went awesome, and I liked the new song I made. I liked performing again, but I just realized I was like kind of lonely up there, so I didn't want to do that again. I actually want to collaborate again. Mm-hmm. But something you said earlier about finding those people that you really resonate with and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of part of too, like my questioning what else is left, because I can no longer find those people. Actually, it's really sad. Like I haven't
Looks
found
like you
anyone.
found some.
Yeah, possibly now.
That's the cool
today, but you know,
Yeah.
like it's been really tough the last few years.
So that's the crazy thing. Once you taste it, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
and you're like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
I was so spoiled. How can I
No,
not?
I appreciate it.
Right?
That's the thing, is that I had some things happen early in my life, and I was talking to Roxanne about it a little bit without really directly talking about some. And they were traumatic, but they did teach me to like appreciate every moment. So I mean, I've luckily I can say that's part of like, yeah, like not really even worrying about what I have yet, you know, not experiencing much more, because every moment I did savor, I did appreciate, I did know. I was freaking out because I'm like, this is amazing, I can't believe this is happening, and I'm gonna take it all in and appreciate it, you know.
That's
So-
probably why you continually keep having more and more extraordinary circumstances.
yeah, I've never taken anything for
It's so
granted.
funny. We were just
you know?
saying earlier. He goes, I'm just wondering, like, what the heck is next? I've done it all. And I go, have you done skydiving? He goes, funny thing is, I will be skydiving.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my friend, it's her birthday, and I asked her what's the one thing she wanted to do, and she said skydiving. I saw her last night, and she's like, "We're still doing it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
haven't done that.
yeah, I haven't either. I mean, I've come close a few times, and for one reason or another, it fell through or whatever. Like last time I was in New York, I was in Long Island, drove all the way out there. We were gonna get on there, like, oh, the winds are too much today, we can't do it. So,
Now, are you scared of heights at all?
no, I'm not scared of
Oh, wow.
anything. I mean, it's like nothing physical. My fears are all about like emotional stuff, you know, like loneliness and lack of love. Those are my fears, but nothing physical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get a
Are you scared of
little-
heights?
I get that feeling in my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never had to like do anything against it or things. It's like if I look over a really tall building, I'm all. But it's a really tall building, and if you fall, then it will hurt. So I don't know if it's like really. I'm not like don't we go there, but when I look over, I get that like weird. I'm all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll actually put myself in the experience of like falling, you know what I mean, and like
Yeah,
understand
that's
like you know
why.
all the things that go with it, and I don't know. I have like moments where
Try and imagine what. I'm like, will it be bad if my bone? How will my
Yeah,
bones
yeah.
feel?
I actually
try and
imagine
like go
bones
through that
breaking
whole
and
thing. It's weird.
imagine-
Yeah. Like, what's going to hit first? What are going to be those last thoughts, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's with anything. There's like,
Like the other day I was driving in a car and I just got aware of like all the traffic around me or something, and I just like the next thing that thought of just one little thing goes wrong, me being like crushed in this car, you know, and then just going through all the feelings, all the physical feelings of the bones breaking, you know, it's just like something I had to kind of, it was happening in my head, so I had to.
This is crazy.
kinda
I was
go
like
through it.
in a car accident when I was a teenager. We were hit by a semi, and I didn't,
A semi?
and I only had a bruise on my leg. But my mom got fucked up. But so then there's that too. You're like, then nothing happens, and you're like, so you really don't know. You'd be like, well, that's what's gonna happen with him, or also that could not happen.
Yeah.
It's
Actually, I had a story from earlier I wanted to mention
Yeah.
this because
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a crazy travel story too, but it actually has this element of it too where like, so I was with this girl, it was the girl I was talking about 10 years ago, I was really in love for the first time. So she also had this thing about her, and it's one of the things I loved being with her, is that she also just didn't have fear around stuff. Like we could walk into anywhere and just be fearless about it. So we took a vacation to Guadalajara, Mexico. And one night, we were just walking around the city. It's such a beautiful city. It's a really family, kind of friendly city. But one night, for some reason, we just both were compelled to just walk in a direction and just keep going. And just keep going, keep going, keep going. So, like, we were going to get lost. And we were going to leave the city center. And we were going to just keep going. And I don't know why. We just were talking. And mutually, we didn't even really discuss it. This is just what was happening. And as we left the city center, things started to get sketchier. And, like, you know, we saw some interesting people like looking at us weird, but you know what I mean? But I felt safe. But what happened next is that we ended up stumbling upon, which I still have burned in my memory, is like one of the most amazing things to me. It was beautiful. It was like a decrepit, falling apart little like mini amusement park.
Wow.
And it was like, and I was fascinated because it looked like, I'm like, either this has been in disuse for a very long time, or it is in use, but this is all they have to work with, you know? And I was like walking up, and I actually went up to like this carousel, and I was super fascinated because every carousel animal was like literally hand carved, pretty poorly, you know what I mean? With like paint on it. I mean, it looked like someone just hacked away at a piece of wood until it kind of formed the shape of something, you know? And I was just like, and I was transfixed. It was the most amazing. It just filled me with like this feeling of like awe, because and it was deserted. There was no one there at all. But anyway, as we're like looking around and I'm just like in heaven, you know, all of a sudden I did hear something. I heard this big like woof, you know, and I looked, and this Doberman comes around the corner, and the way he's like looking at us and stalking us, I'm like, oh shit, like this dog is about to fuck us up, you know, we're in his territory, you know. And so I got like my girl kind of stand behind me, and I'm like kind of like, okay, I didn't know what to do, but I can tell as he's walking, in my head, all I could do is see what he was plotting, what he was planning out, and he was getting ready to like run at us, you know. And all I could think of, okay, like, I'm just gonna push her away and throw myself at the dog because I don't want him, you know, hurting her. But then even that, like, I had this sequence in my head where I felt the dog's teeth on my skin. I felt like the cold you feel when you're split open, and you know, all this stuff. It just was going through my head, but at the whole time I'm not breaking eye contact with the dog, and I'm walking backwards and she's behind me. I don't even know what she's doing, but she's right behind me. But every step the dog is taking, I'm taking a step as well, you know? So we're like in this like very slow, like, you know, death walk, death dance backwards.
Whoa.
But I'm just waiting for the moment when he breaks into a run. That's like what I was actually waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Good cliffhanger moment.
Yes. So you're walking slowly backwards.
Yeah, slowly backwards, and with locked eyes with the dog. Every step I take, he's taking a step. And then out of nowhere, I hear this other sound, and I hear this like yip, 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 and this little dog, like a little toy dog, comes like running. It looked like a cartoon. Came running from behind the carousel, behind the other dog, made a turn where he couldn't even like get traction with his feet. He's just like, you know, and he like comes around and he comes right up to our feet, and he's like, yip, 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 like barking right at us, and it shocked me so badly because I'm like, oh my god, because he was just suddenly there and he was just yipping. But then I looked down at him and I realized I took my eyes off the other dog. So, and we're like start backing up closer because this dog is yipping at us. I look at the other dog totally relaxes. It's almost like he says to his friend, like, you got this, you know, you got this one. You know?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's it right there. Just like a pro.
Oh, nice.
Jordan, I'm not taking photos of my podcast.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So, dude.
Yeah, so
that
anyway,
little dog.
That little dog saved our lives. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But the big dog, it was so
like a Tom
funny.
and
It was
Jerry
like a
moment,
cartoon.
kind of.
It was like the, you know, the little like, you know, the what are we doing now? You know, like that like little
Oh
dog.
my
And then,
gosh.
Like if Pluto would come and then like slide on a banana peel into things, like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, this is like not. This is just something random that happened last night.
Hold out there so you can just wake up.
Yes.
Well, I was smoking weed on my couch. Don't tell anybody. But then I put the lighter down, and then I was like watching a cartoon. I just hear like a hissing.
Oh.
And I was like,
Next three people.
So you heard a hissing?
I was like
Just clear the
thinking
stairs,
it was
make sure nobody's waiting on the stairs.
thinking it was the neighbor, like doing something to.
Excellent. Have the fucking ready to go when you get to the table.
I was like, no, it's not the neighbor.
Pretty unbelievable.
And then I just like looked around. I had no fucking idea, so I started getting on the ground and like being like this, and then I look, and it's the lighter hissing.
Like it was punctured?
Yeah, but I have no idea, and I don't know. But I was holding it and looking at it and going, huh. I don't know. And all of a sudden, I just go to my door, because I have a balcony, and I throw it on the ground, and it fucking explodes into a million pieces.
Seriously?
It almost exploded in my hand, but it didn't. I didn't even know. Like, I just threw it into it. Just, yeah. And I still just left it there, because I don't even know what to do.
I've never heard of something like that.
I didn't even know to check if it was hissing, you know?
Hello. Oh, you got a hearty handshake coming.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
David Lynch, holy moly. Hey, man.
How you doing?
Good to see you, man. I know I've known you in past lives. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, man. Oh, man, it's so great to see you again. Are you a fan of Twin Peaks and David Lynch's stuff?
Yeah, I have done like studies for us.
Is this exciting for you to be here to see this stuff? Oh, yeah. Oh, hi there.
Hi.
Thank you so much for collaborating with him on making this book. Thank you for coming up with the idea to create this thing. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. This great vibe. This is so cool.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Thank you. Why, hello there. Are you a fan of David Lynch? Do you like his movies? Have you seen any of them? Twin Peaks?
Sorry, I can.
That's all right. That's okay. Holy moly, we met David Lynch. What are your thoughts?
I don't have words yet.
Did you transcend?
He has such kind eyes, I would say that.
Yeah.
Really, really kind eyes.
Oh, God. What are your thoughts, dude?
Right now?
Wow.
Well, I have two books signed,
Exactly.
and they're both by my heroes. The other one is Jacques Cousteau. It's his first edition of The Silent World. And that is a synchronicity. Because my brother bought me that book. The Silent World was the first book I ever read by Jacques Cousteau. And he is an absolutely insane writer. For someone who never went skydiving, or not skydiving, it's diving deep, skin diving.
Good night.
He just went, like, I don't know, but I was reading it on a road trip with my brother after he gave it to me, and he would just, like, talk about fish. Yeah.
Okay.
He would talk about fish, and I would just start crying because he just described, like, as if I never, like, saw a fish or something. But, so I had a paperback, and then when I was in New York and I was, like, feeling all lonely and walking around, the Strand is a bookstore, really big one. They have dollar racks outside, so there's just, like, and for some reason there was just that book on the dollar rack, and I was like, oh, no one cares about the 1953 edition of The Silent World, I guess, whatever. So I picked it up and bought it for $1, and it was like totally signed by him, like first edition to like one of his friends, Larry Siegel. Yeah, and I was like, nobody even cared about Jacques Cousteau. I was like, that was another one of those moments. Yeah, for $1. That was amazing. And this one, I got asked by him randomly a couple hours before this. Then he was only supposed to get one book. He went and got me another book.
Incredible.
Yeah. Only one book came with his ticket, and he came back up with this book. And I just got this free book signed by David Lynch.
Oh,
and
my
really
God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You know what's so crazy? I forgot to bring my ticket. And my email only showed me like the confirmation number or something that I paid for the ticket. And it was like right there, like, hey, I belong here. But I didn't have like the official thing for the lady to like zap the bzz thing.
Yeah.
So I'm there and I'm trying to look through my email and I'm sweating and I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be here, but like I can't get in right now. And this guy walks right up next to me and he's like, well, I got an extra ticket. He doesn't even hear what I'm thinking or what's going on. He's like, I got an extra ticket. He's like, what do I do with this? And I go, can I use your extra ticket? Because this woman isn't letting me in because I don't have the barcode thingy. And I'm like, I can go in, right? I mean, you can see that I paid for the ticket. And the lady's like, okay. And so as I walk in, to get the book, the guy is like looking at to make sure I have the ticket. And I go, well, you know, and I show him the phone and everything. He's like, well, that lady was okay about it? I go, yeah. And so, I mean, it was one of those things where I was sitting there, like, just going, no, there's no way, like, I had just, so I was like, oh my God, I just spent $30 to get in a freaking Uber here. I paid for this event, and I am supposed to be here, you know? There's just no way around it. And sure enough, now look at all this crazy, miraculous stuff that's going on. I mean, this is astounding.
And I kept trying to be like, because I was tired, like not trying to cancel on him, but like for some reason it was like, I don't know, I didn't eat food. Maybe I shouldn't go to this. I don't know. And then I was just like, because time literally stopped. Like I kept thinking there was no time, and there just kept being enough time to come. It's been fucking amazing.
I just realized I just pulled this out of my hair. This is like one of the things from the war simulation thing.
From the simulation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just did this
should we
crazy
do
like
now?
VR thing where they put you in Syria, like when a bomb is dropped and you're like in it and they blast you with like, I mean, you have a VR.
Debris.
Yeah. Just some of the debris in my hair. Yeah.
I know. That's the thing. I was like, he was telling me about the tactile things where they're like, you touch something that's supposed to be hot and it would feel hot.
Yeah,
but the
like there's a
debris
fire
thing
and it's
really
like,
just took it that step further.
That was a little extreme. Anyway, that's what I did before
incredible.
I came here. So.
Oh my God. She was just telling me about how, like, just the events leading up to her being here, and the fact that you happen to run off and get the extra copy of the book because it only came.
That's good. Yeah.
Your ticket only came with one book, and then.
Exactly.
Oh my God, this is so. This whole experience has been just really, really, really. Oh man.
Do you usually record like so much when you talk to people? Or?
No, this is the first time I've recorded almost 3 hours of this stuff before. 240.
Yeah,
are you gonna
we've
edit
been talking a lot.
I will. I'll chop it into three parts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
I'll chop it in three parts.
Oh yeah, another thing. We keep another.
And I'll end each one on a cliffhanger too. I'll end each one on a cliffhanger. So people have got to tune in for that.
Yeah.
So what's the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh,
let's
okay.
hear
So
it.
it's called Inspirado Projecto.
Okay, podcast here. So if I go to
Yeah. And then, wow, it comes right up on there.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm a real boy.
Yeah.
This is great.
Awesome.
What a great thing to see that's real.
Nice. How many do you have out so far?
I think, every day I almost make like 2 or 3.
Oh wow. Well, that's
And I
episode
just
83,
I just got I think I'm up to like number 100 and something now. 105 or 8 maybe.
Nice.
It became so addictive to me. This has become, instead of me writing ideas down in my idea book now, this is my idea book. I every idea, anything that's like, oh, wouldn't that be funny if there's this movie about this or a scene like that or a book about this? I just put it all on here, and that's the gift for my future stuff, and it always comes back around in some way or another.
Yeah, I just use my notes for that. It's just. Notes.
That's good. See, I don't document it.
Wow.
I just verbalize.
But I haven't. That's the thing is I have it. It's all in this like idea. What the fuck is it when incubator? And I haven't kicked any out of the nest yet.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a podcast in 2008. I did for a little while, so it's very, very early, and it was kind of before the thing. But it was all comedy. It wasn't, But because I have the
Were
experience,
you still in the very beginning? I mean, because there probably weren't too many podcasts.
Yeah. No,
out
there
back
weren't. There weren't any. But I mean, I was because
Which is
I
awesome. That
yeah,
you
and I was
decided
able to
go in
publish
there.
it. I mean, it was cool because like that was I didn't know how. See, I didn't realize how valuable that was at the time that I published it. And there was only a few listed, and no one really knew what they were. I mean, it was literally when like the first iPods were kind of out, and that's where podcasts came from. Because
I was just reading about that. Yeah.
It was during that time.
God, that's so kick-ass.
But it was only comedy. But I've been wanting to like do a new one to like exercise a lot of my own thoughts now.
Oh my God, it's crazy because so many. It's like we were talking about before, like with the synchronicities. More of them are like, whoa, here's a safe area. There's a target now, and that's what it feels like with this podcast. Is that so many of these ideas now are coming out that are just. Like the imagination is just expanding all the time. And if I'm not making a podcast, I'm talking to myself a lot more now than I ever have before. And I'm meeting people on the subway, whether I'm waiting at the bus stop, whether I'm on a street corner waiting to walk across or something. I mean, God, it's crazy. Oh, I was telling him too that this originates as a radio show. Well, okay, so I have a radio show and this podcast now, but I've had the radio show for since 2016, and it's an AM station in Chinatown, and I would love to have you two on the air. I'm able to do whatever the heck I want on there for an hour, the first and third Monday.
Yeah.
The first and third Monday of every month. It's in Chinatown. Oh my God. And it's from 1 o'clock till 2. I figured, it's great for a Monday because people usually don't like Mondays. And plus I go, okay, we'll do this during a lunch break time.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
hopefully maybe if people step out, they get a sense, they get some cosmic consciousness, and then they go back into the cubicle.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like,
And the
and
people
then
that find it probably look forward to it every week because that is kind of a cool thing. Start your week with that. So,
that would be that would be fun to hear that, to know about that. Wouldn't it be interesting to
Is
know?
it the one that's off Broadway in that red
Holy
building?
moly! Wait, it's crazy you're saying Broadway because it is on Broadway, but it's behind. It's kind of a secret location. There's a stairwell behind a building. That's there's a faux shop or pho PHO. There's one of those restaurants. Faux
It was like FAU. Yeah. Like
We both
like a
said,
fake
no,
shop.
pho. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But that's fun
I
because
think how long has it been around? Because I think one of my friends DJ'd on
really
that show.
K-Chung? Is it called K-Chung? 16:30 a.m. Oh God, of course. Oh my God, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, of course.
That was a couple years ago, but yeah, I would love to go back in there and do that.
Did you say you were on it before? Your friend had it?
Yeah, but it was I think it was a Valentine's Day thing. And then also our mutual friend, her boyfriend was cheating on her, and we were reaming him up and down on the radio show. Oh, wow. We're this is another one for Jason, who's in Sweden and thinks it's cool to have sex with other chicks when he's on tour. Kind of thing. It was a little aggressive.
Yeah, a little anti-Valentine's thing.
Yeah, dick. Now they're great
They're in
friends.
those
now.
studios. It's just got this great. It's got this, people who've been in the studios, they were like, "Oh, this just has this New York vibe about it," and it just felt like I like the underground vibe of it because you got to go through this dark hallway and up this dark stairwell if the light isn't on, and then before you know it, you're just like, "Holy cow!
Yeah, well,
We got a radio show here."
Yeah.
Should I get your number?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to end this now.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be putting this up. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this. You heard David Lynch's own words himself. Talk to me.
Yes.
And others. So keep that in mind when you see me in his next film. Talk to you later.
You got a hearty handshake coming.
Appreciate that. Thank
You
you.
bet.
David Lynch. Holy moly. Hey, man.
How you doing?
Good to see you, man. I know I've known you in past lives. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, man. Oh, man. It's so great to see you again.
Hi, this is Jay Aaseng from Twin Peaks The Return. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.